Growing up, my family wasn't poor, but we weren't exactly loaded either, except Zipashqua, but he was a festive drunk. Anyways, money-wise, let's just say that whenever we went out for breakfast, I could never order the large orange juice. $5 Peru juice, you crazy? You have water, uzucre lá, call the waiter, bring the limona, and you make a juice fresca. Oh, the thirst. But Mom kinda had a point. That's why today we're gonna make an extravagant meal with sneaky ingredient swaps that'll keep costs down. These dishes are gonna be fantastic on the cheap, without looking cheap, as long as you don't wear those pants. Appetizers are served. Crispy calamari fries with 2 dipping sauces, a traditional cocktail sauce, and spicy ponzu mayo. For the main dish, we're making porcini mushroom medallion in a demi-glace. For dessert, we're scoffing fancy schmancy almond lace bowls stuffed full of Amaretto mousse. Watch out! Panos talks about squid.
Sure, squid is cheap, but it's magical.
The spice agent reports on reasonably priced porcini powder.
Mushroom powder is also cheap, but definitely not magical. Hey, I'm working on a visa over here.
You're watching Nadia G's Bitchin Kitchen. Cheap and chic. It's always good to save a few bucks. Who knows? Maybe you're throwing a big dinner party and you don't want to break the bank. Or maybe you want to impress a new lover, but you don't really care that much there. Either way, this spread is going to be epic while keeping your hard-earned dollars where they belong, in the stiletto fund. Let's get cooking. Everybody loves the seafood appetizer. Problem is, seafood's expensive, right? Not always the case. Here I've got a pound of clean squid tubes. You could feed 4 to 6 people with this, and it breaks down to $1.50 per person. Well, what are you gonna get for $1.50 these days? Squid. We just went over that. Grab these suckers, slice them into vertical strips so they kind of resemble fries. Next, dredge them in seasoned flour, a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, and dip them in beaten egg. And finally, coat them with panko crumbs. We're gonna fry these up in small batches in 360-degree canola oil, or any oil with a high smoke point, for about 20 seconds until they're nice and crispy. Here's Panos with more on squid.
Thanks, Nads. Squid is the perfect choice when you're going exotic on a budget. But let's face it, it's ugly and fussy. Usually in life, you have to pick one, but the ocean has different rules, bro. The trick with taming these rubbery ruffians of the sea is either you flash cook them fast, like 20 seconds, or you cook them a very long time, braising the squid so the proteins break down and it becomes tender again. Bro, squids are incredible creatures, closely related to the octopus. They can instantly change their appearance to match their surroundings. It's magical. I wish I could do that, bro. Get in front of a plant and boom, look green. Get in front of my wife and boom, look like I'm listening.
Thanks, Panos. We'll just drain these on a wire rack. When we get back, we're gonna spack it up with 2 dipping sauces, and I'm gonna show you how presentation will take things to the next level. Stay hungry. What level are we on anyways? Welcome back to Bitchin Kitchen, cheap and chic edition, where we're cooking up a gorgeous meal on a budget. I hate that word, budget. It sounds so budget. But imagine for 1 second that you could have whatever you wanted. Well, now you can with my patented creative math system. Check it. Whenever you see an expensive item, don't let the ticket price deter you. Just take the cost of the item and divide it by how many times you think you'll wear it. And for a mere $1 a day, less than the cost of saving a tree in the rainforest, you could own a pair of Louboutins. Our calamari fries are draining. We're gonna make 2 dipping sauces, starting with a traditional cocktail sauce. Here I got a cup of ketchup. Throw in 1 tablespoon of freshly grated horseradish, 1 tablespoon of smoked paprika, teaspoon of lemon zest, the juice of 1 lemon, a teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce, some freshly cracked peps, and a small pinch of cayenne. Mix it up. Now we're gonna make our spicy ponzu mayo. 3/4 of a cup of mayonnaise, add 1 minced garlic clove, 3 tablespoons of Asian chili sauce, and 2 tablespoons of ponzu. Ponzu is a citrusy soy sauce. Mix it up. I love this stuff. Let's plate this dish. We'll get a little bit creative with the plating and use a glass. Throw in our calamari fries. This is a fun idea for presentation. And add a little lemon wedge for decoration. And serve it up with shots of our dipping sauce. Bon appetit. Woo! The crispy panko. You got that tender squid inside, perfectly cooked, and this cocktail sauce, fresh horseradish, a little bit of that lemon zest. I'm gonna try the other sauce now. Love this. The creamy mayo, tangy ponzu, some garlic, hot chilies. It awakens the jackalope within. For our main dish, we're making mushroom medallion smothered in a porcini demi-glace. Porcini, you say? That stuff costs a fortune. Worry not, Squibblebot. We got tricks. Here's the spice agent with his report.
Thank you, Nadia. Today's spice porcini powder. Now it's half the price of porcini with all the flavor and absolutely none of the texture. What can you do? It's like my father said to me, Yecheskel, you either stop borrowing your mother's girdle and stay living in the basement, or keep the girdle and get out. You can't have it all. He was a man of tough love. Porcini powder is used in stews, stuffing, sauces, also for massaging meats and poultry. It gives robust flavor and adds a rich earthiness to your dishes for a fraction of the shekels. You know, Nadia, in Ranana, we also practice fake it till you make it. I had my 4th wife convinced that I was a cardiologist for 2 years. All I had to do, once a week, my cousin Itzik would come over, fake a heart attack, and me, I do like the doctor, I bring him miraculously back to life. Oh yeah, she eventually left me for my cousin Itzik because she thought he was some kind of saint for cheating dead so many times. What can you do? You sow what you're reaping, right? Back to you, Nadia.
Thanks,
יחזקאל מזרחי.
And of course you gotta sew what you rip. What are you gonna do, walk around with holes in your clothes? Come on. We'll start with the filling. Here, I got a pot, heated on medium. Add 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil, 2 cloves of minced garlic, and saute until it's golden, about a minute. In goes 1 diced yellow onion, 2 cups of halved button mushrooms, pinch of sea salt, freshly cracked peps, and cook for about 8 minutes until the mushrooms have browned. Deglaze with a 1/4 cup of dry white wine and a heaping tablespoon of porcini powder. Let it reduce for 30 seconds. This is so sneaky, stealing the texture of the button mushrooms, yet adding the flavor of porcini. It feels evil a bit. I like it. Let it reduce for 30 seconds. Now, we're gonna put this in a food processor and pulse a few times to mince it. Pour it into a bowl and fold in 1 cup of ricotta, 1/2 cup of finely minced parsley, and a 1/4 cup of grated Romano cheese. You see, that's the trick when you're on a budget. Find good replacements, not bad imitations. Like cheese, use Romano instead of that cheap powdered Parm. Same goes with clothes. Support a young indie designer or go vintage. Never mind the knockoffs. You're not fooling anybody. I see this at airports all the time. Girl's got a $10 outfit, yet she's rocking a big oversized Louis Vuitton bag. Yeah, okay. Another thing I always see at airports is TSA with extreme wedgies. Ladies, how do you focus in those tight polyester pants? I just look at you and I get angry wuss. You're a voluptuous woman. Embrace it. Because the way those pants are embracing you, I can't unsee this stuff. When we get back, we're gonna finish these medallioni, make a porcini demi-glace, and scoff. Still there? Welcome back to Cheap and Chic. I love a good bargain. I found my favorite leather jacket at a yard sale for $5. Sure, it took me 2 years' worth of gym memberships to fit into the jacket, but that's how it goes. Same deal with food. Fresh ingredients can save you a ton of cash, but then you gotta invest the time to turn it into a bitchin' meal. And for those of you who say time is money, so not true. When I was a teenager, that was my retirement plan. I invested years of time, okay? Staring at a blacklight poster, and no check ever came, okay? Okay? So, let's finish the medallion. Here I got some fresh pasta sheets that I've cut into 2x2-inch squares. Add 2 tablespoons of our ricotta filling and brush the edges with some egg wash. Just grab an egg, add 2 teaspoons of water, beat it up, and you got egg wash. Schiaff another pasta sheet on top and use your fingers to press the edges together. Grab a fork and press down to really seal it shut. The fork makes it look pretty if you find fork indentations attractive. On to our demi-glace. Now, demi-glace is a rich, beefalicious, velvety sauce that can only be found in the finest French restaurants. But why piche the cash when making it at home is easy, cheap, and ridiculously time-consuming? What are you gonna do? Well, you can start by asking your butcher for 10 pounds of split veal bones. Drizzle them with 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil and roast at 450 degrees for an hour, hour and a half until they get some gorgeous color. I got some roasted ones ready to go. Yeah. We're gonna transfer these to a big pot. Now use a little bit of water to deglaze the roasting pan. And scrape the bottom to lift all the tasty bits. Pour this goodness into our pot. There's so much flavor in this stuff. Now add 3 peeled carrots, roughly chopped, a rib of celery, 1 onion with the peel still on. This adds a ton of color to the sauce. And the leek, a tablespoon of whole black peppercorns, about a cup's worth of fresh parsley, 2 sprigs of thyme, 2 bay leaves. Top it off with cold water and add 6 ounces of tomato paste. Bring it to a boil over medium heat. The second it starts to boil, turn the heat down to medium-low and let it simmer until it's reduced to half its volume. About 10 to 12 hours. I know, 10 hours may seem like a long time, but honestly, it's a long time. What are you gonna do? If you want demi-glace, you gotta suck it up. There's no other way to make this traditional sauce. Trust me, I tried. This is what it looks like 10 hours later. Pick out the bones and the veg, and ladle the broth into a clean pot lined with a wire mesh strainer. Pour in the rest. Turn the heat to medium-low and let it reduce for about 2 to 4 hours. Skim off the gag. Last 5 minutes of cooking, throw in 2 fresh sage leaves and mix it up. In some salted boiling water, add 2 medallion at a time and cook for 2 minutes until al dente. Let's plate this dish. Place our medallion in a bowl. Ladle on a demi-glace. Top it off with some Romano shavings. Of course, the cracked pepper. Tender pasta, fresh ricotta. You got the flavor of the porcini and the mushrooms, and this demi-glace, velvety, luscious. The jackalope is pleased. When we get back, we're gonna make a chocolate amaretto mousse in almond lace bowls. Because if an edible bowl doesn't scream class, I don't know what does. Stay bitchin'. The Recessions hit us all pretty hard, but my generation, the millennials, oh, we really got sucker punched in the spleen. And for the record, we're not called Generation Y. It ain't my peeps that are like, why is the internet broken? Why can't I type in all caps all the time? But I digress. Globally, millennials have a 20 to 40% unemployment rate. But we don't let little things like financial reality get in the way of our good taste. Man, no! Every year we spend over $200 million on luxury goods. That's why today we're cooking up an extravagant meal with the added benefit of saving you a couple of bucks. Because as the old Italian saying goes, a penny saved is a penny earned, and a penny earned won't make a dent on your student debt, bro. You're so screwed. It's a bit long, the saying. Dessert time. We're making chocolate amaretto mousse in almond lace bowls. We'll start with the mousse. Heat half a cup of heavy cream on medium. When it starts to steam, take it off the heat and add 1 cup of dark chocolate shavings. Mix until melted. Nice. We'll let it cool for a couple of minutes. Here I got 2 eggs, yolks in one bowl, whites in the other. Slowly add our cool chocolate cream to our yolks, about 2 tablespoons at a time. Add 2 tablespoons of amaretto liqueur. To our whites, add a 1/4 cup of pulverized raw sugar and beat them into meringues. Fold the meringues into our chocolate mixture. Cover it up. Pop it in the fridge for 1 hour. Almond lace cookies. Heat a pot on medium. Add half a cup of unsalted butter, half a cup of brown sugar, and half a cup of corn syrup. Bring it to a simmer. Now we're gonna mix 2/3 of a cup of all-purpose flour with half a cup of ground almonds. Throw it in, medium-low heat, and mix for a minute. Put this in a bowl, cover it up, and schiap this nasty burdel in the fridge for 1 hour. Once cooled, get your hands on a baking sheet lined with parchment paper and scoop out tablespoons worth of this batter. Roll it into balls. Place the balls 3 inches apart, but you only want to bake 4 at a time. You'll see why in a minute. Into a 350-degree oven they go for 10 minutes until golden. Looking good. You want to let these cool to the point that you can touch them, but they're still warm enough to be pliable. About a minute or so. So now you want to move fast, because they harden quickly. Schiaf them on top of an inverted bowl and delicately shape them around like this. Good. Now let them harden completely. It takes about 2 minutes. Schiaf in some of our Amaretto chocolate mousse. Top it off with some almond slivers, toasted. Nice. Rich, dark chocolate, yet so light and airy, that Amaretto gives it a nice kick. I'm gonna eat the bowl now. So crispy. The almonds. I'm impressed. The jackalope, on the other hand, he's indifferent. Doesn't have a sweet tooth. Today on Bitchin' Kitchen, we cooked up a chic meal on the cheap. Dark chocolate amaretto mousse and almond lace bowls, calamari fries with 2 dipping sauces, and porcini ricotta medallion smothered in a demi-glace. It took forever, that freaking demi-glace, mannaggia la miseria. Moral of the story, you don't need to break the bank to make a bitchin' meal. And honestly, just buy some demi-glace from your local butcher, find it online, do something. Even Juliet Child deemed demi-glace too laborious for the modern home cook. Honestly, 20 hours for a sauce. Yeah, okay. I've had shorter relationships. Alla prossima!